when you present yourself as an anime child and then talk about certain topics. I just... Something about that setup implies to me that YouTube might be slightly more vigilant. This was very dishonestly clipped. None of the actual points were included. And I was, to be honest, as someone who doesn't like Foodshops, I was willing to just assume that Foodshops didn't say anything of worth. Well, if the people in the countries don't know what's happening, then how could it be having an effect? Yeah, I can't imagine any ways where maybe even you might want influence to be in some way subversive or hidden, where the people in the country don't actually necessarily know that it's happening. But oh, there's surely no situations where you would want that, right? Oh, there's problems here. There's problems here. Guys, I want to watch. There's a video I want to watch real bad that I want to get covered before we get into the Destiny stuff tonight. Okay. I won't delay too much with the subreddit review.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here.
But RevSaysDesu, the most famous lolicon on YouTube, has just released a Foodshops video. Least popular lolicon on YouTube. Yeah, war with Foodshops. So I kind of want to take a look at this. I'm very interested. So let's see. Obsessed YouTuber crashed out over me and Asmongold, then brutally found out. Surely bad faith arguments about me and Asmongold would build your channel. All right, let's see this. Let's see this.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here. So today we're going to be reacting to some videos uploaded by this channel called Foodshops. So over the past 5 days, they've released 4 different videos about me and Asmongold, targeting us for all kinds of crazy.
Bro, I love this via key guy, man. I love this via key guy.
Crazy reasons. It's their content nuke, and normally I don't react to smaller channels because I believe they just want the attention, but in circumstances like this I do feel comfortable reacting because I don't believe the extra set of eyeballs on their channel will
so this is so telling, isn't it? Usually I wouldn't reply to someone criticizing me, but this person is legitimately mentally disabled, so I'm gonna just like dumpster this person so I never have to confront anyone who's remotely intelligent criticizing me. Very awesome, Rev. Very awesome.
Benefit them in any sort of a tangible way because their opinions are just that bad. So what we're going to do here is react eventually to this video, which kind of sums up everything that's going on. And also they're kind of having a breakdown over the abhorrent like-dislike ratios on the previous 3 videos. And to give you context before we head into the final video, we're just going to quickly go over the first 3 videos right here.
Is this a trans person? Which one? Rev is not a trans person. The lolly on screen right now is just a dude who uses a little lolly girl avatar. But he's a dude. He's a dude. He lives as a dude. He presents as he's just a dude. Then Foodshops is a transgender.
And kind of give you a sense of what we're dealing with. So, video number 1 in this series. Asmongold is unironically bad faith. And of course, in order to prove that, they make an entire video in bad faith. And you can see the like-dislike ratio. It's not great. 20 likes, 200 dislikes. And this is, you know, a video that neither I or Asmongold have reacted to yet. So this is just the market reacting. This is the video out in the wild. It's all natural right now, and it's still doing that badly. And with this, you know, there's a lot to break.
Dude, she's only got 3K subs.
Break down, but again, for brevity's sake, let's just see a small portion of this video where essentially they're criticizing me and Asmongold for talking about various issues like USA ID as well as Gamergate and things like that. So
talk, walk, babe. Yeah, they tell you everything to do. These are the people that want to tone police you. They want to tell you what words you can and can't say.
For the record, these are the same exact people who cry all the time about black people and women appearing in their video games.
Okay, yeah, Foodshops was absolutely asking for this one. Wow. What a stupid point to make.
The same goofballs who cried about a black samurai in an Assassin's Creed video game. Regardless, here we see another way that implications are veiled through layers of irony and purposeful vagueness.
Okay, so they're basically saying that me and Asmongold are freaking out over Yasuke.
But why can't I hear a rustling noise? Is this guy smoking roll-ups too?
Regardless, here we see another way that implications are veiled through layers of irony and purposeful vagueness.
Nobody.
Okay, so they're basically saying that...
Am I crazy? Am I crazy, or is that the same sound?
Me and Asmongold
bag of chips
are freaking out over Yasuke. We hate Yasuke because he's a black man in a video game, which is not the truth whatsoever. People are not criticizing Yasuke as a character in Ubisoft's implementation of this character because he's simply a black man. They're doing it because Ubisoft, through their own actions, have made a very dishonest portrayal of this historical figure while also claiming they are historically accurate and they respect Japanese culture.
Oh my god, it's so gay and retarded, isn't it? Historically accurate, you know, like when Da Vinci gave Ezio a Glock. Historically accurate, like when in Italy they found that magic ball that taps into like the tech god realm that allows us to whatever the fuck. What is the shit the Apple of Eden does? I don't even remember. I don't know shit about the Assassin's Creed lore. All that shit sucks. Point is, the Apple of Eden isn't real, okay, Rev? Alright, it was never historically accurate. The Animus isn't real. You can't actually tap into genetic memory to see what your ancestors were doing, Rev.
Meanwhile, they're...
What is this? This blows. Then you won't mind being permanently banned from the channel, will you?
claiming he's a samurai when that is a very highly contested claim, and their only real source for that seems to be Thomas Lockley, who wrote a 400-page fan fiction about Yasuke with no empirical evidence that has been absolutely dragged by other Japanese historians. So yes, people have a problem with Yasuke as a character in this game, not because he's black, but because of the way that Ubisoft has implemented this character. And you can see a totally bad faith argument that anyone who watches our videos would never believe.
That's a pedophile dog whistle, by the way. That is a pedophile dog whistle. Pedophiles use the word bad faith online. They say bad faith online. It's a reference. It's a euphemistic reference to the Catholic Church and about, you know, not following your faith, perverting your faith. It's a euphemistic reference to the Catholic Church. It's about molesting children. Pedophiles use the term bad faith online. Be very aware, because it can slip into normal conversation. It can slip into normal conversation. Many people will pretend to tell you. They will fake to you. They will say, oh, I just mean that you're not accurately representing your intentions when you enter the conversation. That's not what they actually mean. What they actually mean is that they're a pedophile. They're telling you they're a pedophile.
For a second, and that's how they start off this whole thing, and they just, you know, yap over and over again about USA ID. They have a big issue with us criticizing USA ID, and eventually they end the video by saying something along the lines of, they don't believe that Asmongold and myself actually believe our own opinions, which, okay, I guess, but that's kind of how they started off my video. This is the second video in the saga here. Apparently, he also sucks, and it's titled RevSaysDesu. It's unironically bad faith, and you can see the dislike ratio.
Okay, she kind of got you there. She kind of got you here. You're kind of seething about it, saying he also sucks on his thumbnail right now.
It's not too great on this one.
I remember the historically accurate time Ezio and the Pope had a fist fight under St. Peter's Basilica to see who would meet with the Roman goddess Minerva.
Either. But this is how they describe my content, and then I'll explain kind of what happened in this video.
Correctly. This ultimately brings us to RevSaysDesu. Rev is a commentary channel that often covers gamer news. However, if you look at all of his videos, you can clearly see they have a slant to them. His commentary oftentimes appeal hard to the anti-woke crowd.
Right.
We need to go into this analysis knowing that this is what works best for their channel.
Okay, so this is the classic argument people make. They basically say if your videos get views, you must be doing this in a very inorganic way, that you're grifting or you're doing something like that. I make these videos because I care about these topics. It's not just to get clicks.
Maybe you are grifting too.
If I wanted clicks, there's other topics I could.
Well, I can't be fucked going through and evidence all this right now, but there are so many times where Rev makes a video where it's like the most lame, the whole video is just him doing the most lame mental gymnastics hypocrisy point about someone who said they don't like lolly on Twitter. Like someone says, actually, I'm not particularly attracted to anime children. And Rev's like, well, if I look on your Twitter, actually, 7 years ago when you were in junior year of high school, you actually retweeted some Raven fan art from Teen Titans. Who actually, I think you'll find that teenagers are technically children. So actually, you do like anime children. It's like that. It's like that. You're like, yeah, you're like the public, buddy. You're like the public. You're like the public. Dude, it's so fucking annoying. These people suck so bad.
Talk about that.
And literally, a perfect example of Rev being a grifter as well. The video that Chud covered. This guy crying that is, what was it? It was a video, what's the new Neil Druckmann game? Yeah, Foodshops got a 128,000 view video about her. Yeah, Stylo, yeah. Foodshops won, okay? Anyway, there was that Chud video that Chud covered, where Rev is crying that he covered the new Neil Druckmann game. And this video got, was it demonetized? Oh, you can see it here, age restricted. It got age restricted. It didn't even get taken down. It didn't get a strike, didn't get a warning. It just got age restricted on the video. And he's like crying that YouTube are targeting him. Most obvious grift bullshit in the world that every YouTuber knows is a total grift. Every YouTuber who's not completely retarded knows it's an absolute grift whenever someone does that shit. So yeah, you are a grifter, Rev. Foodshops might not be able to make the point, but you are a wretched, dishonest loser. That's just true.
Don't come with daily death threats and unhinged people constantly complaining about you, okay? I talk about these things knowing some of the backlash I might get because I enjoy these topics, especially when it involves gaming. Now, we also see what she's reacting to here, and she spends the entirety of this video reacting to a video I uploaded back in December, where it's titled, I criticize the gaming industry, now YouTube is silencing me. So what happened in that video is I was reacting...
Hell, it's a Druckmann pulled some strings behind the scenes, okay? It's a... Dude, that VTuber video, man. Was Rev claiming it was a conspiracy, or was it just Okko? I actually can't remember.
To a situation where a previous video got age restricted, right? And I thought it was very unfair, and I made a video about it because that's what YouTubers do. When you have issues with YouTube, you make a tweet about it, and then you make a YouTube video about it, and that solves the problem typically. And that video, after I released it, within 1 hour, the age restriction was removed. Now, in that video, I talked about an observation I made about the gaming industry where a lot of companies want to make these promotions centering around Christmas-related themes, but they never say any sort of dialogue along with it that says Merry Christmas. They always use Happy Holidays, and I think that's just like a PC approach to things. It's not meant to be a super deep topic, and you can disagree with it, that's fine, but I'm just raising that for context because the video was age-restricted as a result. And in this video, Foodshops claims that, like, I'm trying to morally grandstand here and have this performative outrage where I'm saying I'm being persecuted because of my beliefs and these topics involving Christmas and all this stuff. When I only brought up the topic for context to explain why it's so frustrating that I got an age restriction for sexual content. So that topic I covered was completely benign, but then I get hit with an age restriction and then that appeal rejected within 5 minutes.
Have you considered not using an anime child avatar that you sell sexualized merchandise of on your channel? Perhaps this would allow YouTube to give you a bit more leniency when you discuss anything that could veer towards an adult topic through the avatar of a child. But I get the feeling that perhaps YouTube are slightly more vigilant when you present yourself as an anime child and then talk about certain topics. Something about that setup implies to me that YouTube might be slightly more vigilant.
Minutes for sexual content, including nudity, which obviously didn't happen, but they tried to, in bad faith, misrepresent what I'm doing. And also throughout this video, to wrap this one up, they basically try to...
Aren't you an anime child? No, this is a wiggler, okay? It's a totally different thing. It's essentially, it's like saying a chibi drawing is an anime child. No, chibi is not a child. Chibi is not a lolly, okay? That's not how it works. Hey, Kuihman, what's up? Hey, Parry. I'm going to watch your Darkbringer conversation at some point tonight, I think. Darkbringer messaged me about it. So I think we'll watch that at some point.
Appeal rejected within 5 minutes for not John's topics involving Christmas and all this stuff, when I only brought up the topic for context to explain why it's so frustrating that I got an age restriction for sexual content. So that topic I covered was completely benign, but then I get hit with an age restriction and then that appeal rejected within 5 minutes for sexual content, including nudity, which obviously didn't happen. But they tried to, in bad faith, misrepresent what I'm doing. And also throughout this video, to wrap this one up, they basically
YouTube moderation is being bad faith with me.
Try to gaslight the viewer into believing that I don't have any clue how YouTube works, but they do. They claim on the one hand that me going to Twitter and YouTube was just performative outrage that doesn't actually fix anything, and that the real solution was instead to go to the YouTube creator help on your main page and then...
Okay, that's not... Yeah, Foodshops is just totally wrong on that. If Foodshops said that, Foodshops a complete retard. Twitter is how you get everything fixed on YouTube. None of the YouTube functions work. The only thing that works with YouTube is @ing Team YouTube on Twitter. That is a known fact.
Talk to some consultant there, which is insanely stupid. That doesn't work. They pretty much have no power on that chat line. They can't fix hardly anything. 90% of your issues, they can't even begin to address. So that's stupid. And then they also disputed my claim that in January, there's definitely a downfall, a ramping down of ad revenue typically on YouTube, because after the holidays, advertisers aren't as gung-ho with YouTube and their campaigns there, because people just, they're broke from the holidays. They're not spending as much money. That's something that any creator who's been around long enough recognizes. It's a pattern. It doesn't affect everyone the same, but it's definitely a pattern that exists. In fact, I know at least 2 different circumstances where PewDiePie took the month of January off, and one of the reasons is that videos and ad revenue just didn't perform as well, and he'd rather save his content for the next month and take a break during that time. But basically, that's what they yap about for this whole time. A bad faith argument trying to gaslight people about things that just aren't true. But then we get the third installment of this saga. Asmongold...
A whole break... Wait, Rev really spent his day doing a whole breakdown of Foodshops' last week of videos. Wow.
Messed up big time. It's over.
What a great use of your time,
I can't even, like, criticize this too much. This is definitely a title and thumbnail I would make, so I can't say too much about that. But again, 24 likes, 139.
Okay, listen. He's fair at least. He says, "Look, I can't talk shit on the presentation." Yeah, I would do the same thing. Fair play.
Likes. This video is talking about USAID, and Asmongold's reacting to a decoy voice video. And let's just begin by...
I think Foodshops and Rev should debate. I would moderate a Foodshops and Rev... I'm putting out the call, okay? I would moderate a Foodshops versus RevSaysDesu debate. I'm putting out the call, okay?
Hearing her description of Asmongold, especially when it pertains to his increasing shift towards political commentary.
He totally has the freedom to explore politics on his stream. But if a very large streamer does cover it, I expect a bit more out of them. And so, where there's politics, there is Asmongold falling off.
You heard it here, folks. Asmongold is falling off. He has fallen off, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I don't know about you, but like looking at the Asmongold TV channel, like, I don't know, uploaded 18 hours ago, 1.3 million views.
Yeah, that's obviously a delusional
Every
point.
video,
We're going to
getting
spend 5 minutes on this instead of addressing anything else in the video, I can tell.
Hundreds of thousands of views, some hovering around 1 million, in many cases breaking 1 million, 1.6 million in 2 days. And then you got the clip channel, same thing with this, 900K in 9 hours, 900K in 22 hours, so on and so forth. Like, he's also, just statistically speaking, the biggest political commentator on Twitch right now. So he's falling off. That's such a disingenuous explanation of what he's doing. But speaking of disingenuous, let's listen to this next part where she describes not only some things about Asmongold, but also Decoy Voice, who's catching strays here.
First, Asmongold's eyebrows do more commentary than him. Asmongold begins by watching a right-wing guy.
That's true. Well, wait, Foodshops is right there, though. That's true. Asmongold's eyebrows just sit there wiggling the whole time while he goes, yup, yup. There it is. Yup. I mean, that's fact. Foodshops spitting. That's Foodshops W.
Named Decoy Voice.
Right-wing Decoy Voice. Interesting.
Not to harp on somebody other than Asmongold, but his opinions are straight up trash. The objectively correct opinion here is that the US needs to clean up their explosives on country.
Dude, okay. Why is Foodshops so retarded? The objectively correct opinion here. Dude, why do you just go in videos and say, like, retarded shit like that? This is what I don't get, man. Sometimes I just, like, I watch videos. I'm like, I think I should be everyone's script editor. I think everyone in the world should send me scripts, pay me lots of money, and you should make sure, you should allow me, because I'm the smartest person ever, to go over your script and make sure the arguments make any fucking sense. So many times I watch a video and I'm like, wow, this is like almost a point. This is like almost a good point. But if I just rewrote that, it would be like 10 times better. It would be like 1,000,000 times better. It's just so fucking annoying sometimes.
Countries that they interfered with in the past. It's like clogging your friend's toilet after going to their house and leaving without telling them. Regardless,
no,
Asmongold seems to watch this guy a lot and makes goofy faces.
What are these criticisms? His eyebrows move too much. He makes funny faces. Like, damn. What does it have to do with anything?
What's your rate for proofreading? $1 million an hour.
Like, that's not legitimate criticism. So in this video, they're doing tricks on USAID. I cannot believe anyone defends USAID this hard. So as Asmongold claims, and I agree with in many regards, the reason people don't feel bad about USAID falling apart is because the overwhelming majority of their foreign campaigns were an absolute waste of money. You know, DEI musicals over in another country, or... Yeah,
what percentage was spent on DEI musicals? Can you give us some percentage breakdowns? How do you know the vast majority of USAID spending was spent on stuff that's completely worthless? How do you know that? What's your basis for that? Again, Foodshops making retarded points in a video. Rev responding with also retarded points. Just amazing. Just great. You're literally replying to like the most low IQ transgender pedophile on the platform, and you're still making retarded statements. Rev has no fucking idea what the breakdown of USAID spending is like. Rev has no fucking idea what the rationalization for spending money on various different cultural projects that might help gain soft power with certain communities in other countries, or allow for the moderation of values in different countries. He's got no idea why each of these decisions was made. But he just hand waves it all, says, oh, the vast majority of it's a complete waste. Because he's a complete fucking drone. Because he's a complete drone, just like Asmongold.
Paying for...
distributing malaria medication, setting up learning and evaluation programs, pale in comparison to DEI musicals. Yeah, I'm sure. It's just, it's the most low IQ engagement ever. He hasn't looked into it at all. He's just completely hand-waved USAID as a complete waste of money. Because he's a retard. Because he's just a retard.
Transgender comic books in South America. Like, these things are ridiculous. And
it's ridiculous. It's just so
Foodshops here tries to use an appeal to emotion, saying, well, one of those programs that's going to get slashed is cleaning up bombs in Cambodia. And Asmongold's reaction is pretty much like, I don't want to pay for the sins of other generations. I wasn't even born within 20 years of the Vietnam War. Why am I responsible for anything going on here? Like, why would I pay my taxpayer dollars? Now, an armchair therapist on Twitter will probably diagnose you a psychopath for having that opinion, but that's the opinion I think most people in the world have. They don't want to be paying for foreign things going on that happened generations before them. I think that's a very human thing to do. But
you can't imagine that maybe you can prevent bigger problems by spending a small amount of money. Maybe you can save more money or have a greater profit return by helping a small country that may not have the help to fix things itself. You don't think maybe building up these relationships and having soft power over various different places could be a benefit? No? Oh, okay. I get. Sorry, I forgot. You're like completely fucking retarded. Sorry, I forgot you're like 60 IQ. That's why you're dunking off Foodshops video instead of engaging with anyone who might be able to meaningfully challenge the things you think.
Like I said, they pretty much just complain the rest of the video here. And then we get to the good stuff. The biggest problem with Asmongold fans, it's your fault.
Destiny drama will start when I finish this video. This video has another 12 minutes on it, okay?
Asmongold fans, you hear me? It's your fault. So this thumbnail is wild. White people weaponizing Japanese people, I guess. That's rich. Well, let's see what they have to say here. So let's get right into the video.
My Asmongold and RevSaysDesu vids got a lot of attention from a bunch of haters. Don't want my videos to do well? Find them. Click off right now. I'm telling the truth. If you want to learn how you're helping me out, sit down, my little crispy chicken nick.
Oh. All right, then. Spicy intro. Clearly,
I mean, Foodshops won.
Clearly, they're very upset about the dislike ratio on all these videos, and I guess that makes sense. They thought they had a little home run with these videos, and yeah, let's hear what else they have to say. Ow, my ears, dude.
The YouTube algorithm values engagement above all else. Basically, it values how long somebody can stay on YouTube.com. The common truth is that people who comment and like on a video will count as good engagement. But what if I told you bad feedback and rage bait also counts as good engagement?
I mean, like, sort of, right? Like, I know I've spoken on this many times, and I also know Asmongold's spoken on this many times. Like, yeah, I thank the people overall for making hate threads about people like me on Twitter.
Now he has to rationalize it. You know, this guy has said, "Oh, I actually, when you guys hate on me, it actually does free promo for me. You guys seething actually just helps me." You know, he's done that before. Now he's having to rationalize that previously stated position with the one he's going to try and say now, which is that there are certain types of negative engagement that can negatively impact your video.
Twitter or Reddit, because they're just helping.
Do you think you will look at the Naomi King stuff today? I watched like the first couple minutes of that hour and 10-minute long video, and it seemed like nothing was changing. I'm not gonna lie. Is it? Has anyone watched it yet? Is it worth watching? It seemed like nothing had changed. Because I literally said, when she posted that apology video, when the apology video stuff happened, I said, I think she's apologizing for presenting this as basically like a rape allegation. I don't think she's backing off of the statement because of the description of the video. That's what I said. And I go to this video, and it's basically just her saying that. It's her saying, I'm sorry I presented that as a rape allegation. I still think that happened. The things that I said happened. Here's a bunch of questions I'm answering. And I saw that 2-minute Daniel Green video. Okay. How are Chud and Dickers reacting to that 2-minute Daniel Green video? That didn't prove anything. Have you seen the Daniel Green video?
We have received information from someone in communication with Naomi King that they are not done. Not offline, not on YouTube, and not on their other social media platforms. In a means to preemptively deter Naomi King from causing...
Like, this whole 3-minute video is just basically, I know she's got malicious intent because she sent this tortoise crying laughing emoji. That's this whole video. Like, look.
We have received information from someone in communication with Naomi King that they are not done. Not offline, not on YouTube, and not on their other social media platforms. In a means to preemptively deter Naomi King from causing more harm, we would like to share evidence proving Naomi King's malicious intent when it comes to harming myself and Kayla, as well as sexual assault survivors. You can see in this message here, shared by a person in direct communication with Naomi, explaining why Naomi's videos, falsely accusing of sexual assault, are wrong. And in my opinion, Naomi in response is clearly mocking rape. The message reads as follows. You described it.
She's clearly mocking rape.
That's why everyone was calling him a rapist, and everyone making reaction videos crying for you. That's what all the supportive were about. That's why everyone was talking about survivors in your comments, to which Naomi King responds with a goofy laughing emoji, and then the word oops, before our informant says, what do you mean oops? And Naomi says, well, we'll have to see what happens. I have a right to defend myself in the court of public opinion and law. We are sharing this evidence not just because it has to do with me, but because unfortunately there are viewers of this channel who have been victims of rape or sexual assault themselves, and who are affected by Naomi King's video. And here you can see Naomi King making light of their experience of sexual assault and rape and mocking them. This is not funny.
What?
It is not funny to accuse someone falsely of rape, and it is not funny to mock real rape victims. And I'll say once again, Naomi King and I had a consensual affair 2 years ago. Naomi King has already uploaded and deleted an apology video addressed to myself, Kayla, and to sexual assault victims.
I am so sorry to every survivor that I've hurt in doing this. That was not my intent. And it breaks my heart how many people I have hurt. This is not normal behavior. This is not okay. And I'm checking myself. I am so sorry to every survivor that I have hurt in this. I am also, you know, horrifically sorry. I want to apologize to Kayla so much. And Daniel, I am devastated by how many people I've hurt. I have become that person that has set survivors back. And that revolts me.
It's all the whole
mocking rape.
The whole thing is just the fucking turtle emoji, the tortoise emoji. The whole thing is just the tortoise emoji. I'm not covering any of the cherry stuff. That's not happening. It's a whole video called Proving Naomi King's Malicious Intent. And it's just a tortoise crying emoji. And that's the whole video. What? It's just fucking crazy.
Helping boost the engagement of my channel. But that works for people like me and Asmongold because we already have a baked-in, settled, established audience to begin with who already agrees with a lot of what we do, or at least enjoys our content. And then there's also these people who are coming from hate threads and things like that who are never going to watch you in the first place. But also there are some reasonable people who come across those threads, they check out the content for themselves, and they go, wait a minute, this person's not as unreasonable as these wackadoos on Reddit are making them out to be. I'm going to stick around. That really does happen a lot with channels like mine, and I thank the hate threads and all that stuff because it helps bring over some reasonable people, and it helps channels like us out.
I made a severe and continuous lapse in judgment. Tortoise emoji, okay. I keep always saying turtle. Tortoise is a tortoise. Tortoise emoji. Thank you.
But with smaller channels like this...
I just don't get it, man. I don't... Ugh.
It doesn't work that way, okay?
We don't see debate Chud on it. But it's like, what is the argument? It's just Chud goes, oh, well... here's some factual inaccuracies I've determined were knowing lies. She's a disgusting bitch. That's it. That's the conversation. And then me just going, well, I don't know. I don't want to draw any strong conclusions about the situation. And neither of the people releasing good videos. Both of the people's videos suck. Neither of them are really doing anything. I can't draw a strong conclusion about this. It's probably not worth cancelling the guy over, even if it happened the way she describes. Like that's my position is, I don't know what happened. It's not worth cancelling the guy over. I probably lean slightly towards her version of events because he hasn't provided anything of worth. Like it's such a weak position. It's like a nothing position. If Chud wants to spend 6 hours a day screaming about how this bitch is fucking stupid, Chud can be the I hate women guy. That's not, you know.
The people have that phrase, there's no such thing as bad publicity. I think there is. Okay, like these videos, the like-dislike ratio on this is like the Snow White live action trailer. Like, most people are coming here, they don't like what they see. You know, the reasonable people don't like what they see. It's not helping you out in the way that you think it is. That's why I feel comfortable reacting to this video, because getting a 90% dislike ratio on a video is not growing your channel or making your reputation out there a very good one. I mean, this is a first impressions type game here. A lot of people see one thing or one video about you and they make their mind.
This guy watching both streams that freaks out screaming with literally no pushback because it's not worth arguing about. So in the opposite direction. Yeah. Yeah. I'm an evidence enjoyer, personally. I'm a rational evidence evaluator, personally. I don't like drawing strong conclusions unless I have good evidence to draw strong conclusions from, even if a woman's annoying me. That's me, personally.
Mind up about you on the spot.
Every dislike, every angry comment, and every single angry
That's us on the hamster wheel right now. We're being
only
played.
Serves to make my videos get more attention. Engaging with my videos only makes my videos show up more on your feed.
What is this, like, anime villain monologue here? Like, relax, completely mind broken over a couple of videos getting some dislikes on them. Jeez, relax.
You guys are really not beating the retard allegations. The best way to reduce the attention my videos get and to completely hinder me is to hover your cursor over my video and not click on it. By doing this, you're lowering my click-through rate. Impressions are the times a viewer sees my video on the side or in the search results. However, clicking on the video increases my click-through rate and makes that particular impression valuable.
Why are they so mad? Oh my god. You know, I think they're being like a little overly dramatic in this video, but that doesn't really work again because in the other videos they were dead serious. So I don't understand, and I think they got themselves into this situation by being the perpetual contrarian. You know these people, right? Who they find someone they don't like, and they're just, their belief system becomes everything that's the opposite of that person they don't like, even if it's completely unreasonable and stupid. And I think that's how they're treating people like me and people like Asmongold, where it's like, literally, every single opinion they have, they want to have the opposite of that opinion, no matter how difficult it is to support that contrarian point of view.
It tells YouTube it's a popular...
That's not me. I'm based consistency enjoyer. I'm a consistency enjoyer, me personally.
...video, and it will thus spread it to more people. I recommend doing your homework before promoting content you don't like.
Also, like I said, I think they're being like a little dramatic, but it doesn't work because, like I said, they were serious in the other video, and now it's like they're trying to play it off like, oh, I was just goofing around this whole time. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think you just got kind of barraged with dislikes and negative comments, and now you're trying to cope about it.
Fortunately, clicking on my video, watching it all the way through enough to leave entire timestamps for comments, probably giving it a dislike in the meantime, is really boosting me in the algorithm.
So I remember seeing this, I think this was on the first video. This person broke it down very well, actually. So like, showing this as some kind of
this is like, I don't care about this gay comment that was on Foodshops.
Was depicted as the Black Samurai in the new Assassin's Creed game, okay? And since he is one of the main characters, you know, the gamers go on in full force, okay? Now, people are mainly using, the main excuse they're using is that it's historically inaccurate.
It is.
Okay? That's not true. This is a topic of debate. There's a lot of Japanese people on Twitter, all right? And for the record, a lot of these people are racist as fuck, okay?
Oh.
A lot of Japanese people on Twitter, all right, saying, hey, you know,
very true. You've seen my hatreds develop. You watch my hatreds develop. Look, it's like Destiny with his research streams. Okay, it's much like that. Okay, where he's like, you know, you can actually see where I came to my opinions and how I argued them. You can see how I argued them. I'm reading through court documents for 18 hours a fucking day. That's like me, except you watch me initially be like, this guy isn't that bad to a YouTuber. And I watch like 50 hours of their content, and then by the end of it, I'm like screaming at my computer screen, and like almost putting a fist through it.
you know, we're offended. We're offended.
They
we're
are
offended,
very
okay?
offended.
All right, but then this Japanese historian came out, all right, who is Japanese, who is not paid by
This guy.
Augie declared. I'm saying this is misinformation. I did not declare a rape, Krieg. Augie called rape, Krieg. Augie called rape, Krieg. Okay.
By the way, I believe this is the guy who was exposed as someone who was supporting the Japanese Communist Party and also didn't believe in empirical evidence for history. Like, you don't have to actually prove anything through evidence when it comes to history. It's about basically telling a story. Yeah, there's a reason why this guy got absolutely trashed on. And then the other person they're referring to is, of course, Thomas Lockley, who we already talked about. 400-page fan fiction on this stuff that's been debunked. He also vandalized the Wikipedia page of Yasuke, changing the phrases from retainer to samurai, then using his own book as the source for that. How is that ever taken seriously?
Anybody, all right, who is a professor who teaches people.
Okay, yeah, nobody cares. It's fucking Assassin's Creed.
All right.
That's what they generally do.
Literally said during that time the historical records are not accurate. They don't refer to anyone as a samurai. Why? Because they haven't invented the word samurai yet. They haven't invented.
I don't know what they're talking about. But the other point that they made a couple seconds ago was that people are trying to basically, it really was the thumbnail too, where they're saying that people like me or Asmongold, we're speaking on behalf of all Japanese people. We're treating them as a monolith who all think the same, which is not true. Basically what's happening here is that we're looking, or people like me, we're looking at what the majority seems to think. And it seems very clear from a lot of evidence that a lot of Japanese people don't like the portrayal of not just Yasuke in this game, but Japan and Japanese history generally when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows. They have a million reasons to be upset. All the controversies, all the historical inaccuracies.
No, I don't believe that any significant amount of Japanese people are actually fucking upset about Assassin's Creed. I truly do not believe that. I don't believe Assassin's Creed will play... Sorry. I don't believe Japanese people play Assassin's Creed in the first place, frankly. I think it's very much a Western game. It's not even on their mind. Yeah, I don't think Japanese people give a fuck what Assassin's Creed is doing. It's just, yeah. It's just like a bludgeon. It's like, look, the Japanese are upset. Look, they're just using it as a bludgeon. That's it.
There's plenty to be upset at. And if you want some evidence of that, I mean, just look at one of the trailers from Ubisoft Japan. This is the Japanese version. Look at the like-dislike ratio. It's looking like Foodshops here. Like 900 likes, 25,000 dislikes. It's not just, oh, a lot of people hate it. There's so much apathy. Only 900 people like this trailer. I mean, that's absolutely insane. So people like me, we see this and say, yes, I understand Japanese people are not a monolith, but it seems like the reception in Japan is really bad. And I think that's a fair conclusion to make right here on this subject. Now, returning to this, they just yap on and on. Is that a fair conclusion
based on what? Just a few tweets that you've seen?
Other things. It's honestly a waste of time. So let's go to the conclusion here, the closing, and hear what we have to say here.
Yeah, I've taken an open-minded approach to his content, watched a lot. I do not believe...
Also, the average Asmongold fan dropped the ball. Like, that, wouldn't that make more sense for me? Anyway.
Gold is operating in a nefarious manner. He is trying to understand a lot about a lot, same as me. So I respect your video because I did learn from you too. Okay, this is at least a nice comment. Okay, this first video is pretty rough. Okay, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
RevSaysDesu. Okay, this one has less comments. I mean, okay, guys, I just want to say that this video, all right, this video is way better. In fact, if anything, the best part is this part, okay? Not only...
Oh my god. Yeah, so apparently, this is the best video. This is the best we got out of the series here, but anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Obviously a lot of stuff to react to. I found this to be pretty funny. I'm not trying to go over the top with this. I just thought it was pretty amusing to see all these videos and some of the logic.
Wow. Crazy stuff. What a terrible video that was. Asmongold has released a video. Now, I think I've lost my evidence here. Let me see. Have I lost my evidence here? I haven't. I can still pull up my evidence. Asmongold has released a video reacting to a RevSaysDesu video that we watched yesterday. Why were we watching a RevSaysDesu video? Well, not for any random reason. Because RevSaysDesu fucking sucks. But because Foodshops was featured. As Foodshops has been making a bunch of videos talking shit on Asmon and RevSaysDesu. If you don't remember Foodshops about a year and maybe even a year and a half ago. Maybe even a year and a half ago. Kuihman's a misandrist. If Parry was crying, he would let it play out. I probably would let yeah, you're probably right. I probably would let a guy crying play out. I'd probably find it funny. True. Probably. Anyway. I covered Foodshops like a year ago. Farmers person heavily. And they're a complete retard, obviously. But they've been pumping out videos on Asmongold and RevSaysDesu. And they finally got some attention. They got responded to. So Asmongold has reacted to the RevSaysDesu video. And the original title of the video was this. It was, who the fuck is this guy? That's what the original title of the video was. Who the fuck is this guy? Obviously, Foodshops is a transgender. So very transphobic from Asmongold there. And his editor. Very transphobic. Not cool. But let's take a look at the video. It's been retitled to Who the Fuck Is This? Let's take a look.
About this. There's been somebody making a lot of videos about me. I'm not going to complain about somebody unless I can get them all the way. And so I bide my time. I wait until the opportunity is right. And then I take advantage of the opportunity. And I think
maybe, in fact, before we even get to this, that's the hook there, guys. Okay, that's the hook. Asmongold is beefing with this freak, kind of lolcow, lolicon, transgender that I was beefing with a long time ago. Okay. Now let's pull up Foodshops channel. Let's actually watch the videos because RevSaysDesu does not actually engage with the videos very much. So we're gonna actually I think we'll take a look at the actual videos themselves. Let's see.
But I'm not gonna complain about somebody unless I can get them all the way. And so I bide my time. I wait until the opportunity is right, and then I take advantage of the opportunity. And I enjoy it. I love it.
Ah, bro, this nigga really think he a Death Note character. Lil bro, you're not like Yagami. Sit your ass down. These Gamergate losers really can't comprehend the fact that Gamergate was 10 years ago. In this video, we will explore misinformation and irresponsible rhetoric espoused by Asmongold in one of his recent commentary videos. Let's get into it. In order to begin talking about Asmongold, we need to talk about a speaking behavior that he employs to avoid accountability. He would make claims in a sarcastic way despite him genuinely believing them. By doing this, he gets to make his opinions while hiding behind a shield of irony.
I get to the UN. It's
Wait, what are you saying?
He would make claims in a sarcastic way despite him genuinely believing them. By doing this, he gets to make his opinions while hiding behind a shield of irony.
I get to the UN. It's very obvious to me that people in the government help them.
It's easy to attack by making the opinion, while making it easy to defend as well.
Like, I'm the kind of guy that if I think something's happening, I'm just going to think it's happening. And unless you show me direct proof that it's not happening, then I'm still going to believe it's happening.
In this specific example, Asmongold makes the assumption that it's very obvious that people in the government help them. Here, he doesn't specify what that help means. The implication seems to be some shady, personal, relationship type help, so let's go with that. If that is the case here, then that is a strong assumption indeed. Does he have any evidence to back it up immediately, or any examples to give here?
If I think something's happening, I'm just going to think it's happening.
No. Instead, he goes to ironic barbarian mode and says,
Okay, look, Foodshops actually might not be making too much of a bad video here. I mean, she's fucking annoying in the way she talks. It's hard to listen to. But this is fine. This is fine.
If I think it's happening, then it's happening. If you ever try to attack this, then the fan can easily say that it's sarcastic, and obviously that's not what he means.
And unless you show me direct proof that it's not happening, then I'm still going to believe it's happening. Why? Because I've never been wrong, really.
He also says, unless you show me direct proof. It's another example of sarcastic defense. However, here's the thing. Despite all this sarcasm, I truly do believe that Asmongold believes what he is saying originally, being that it's very obvious that people in the government help them. All right, let's take a look at another part of his commentary.
Having your favorite medium, your favorite hobby, constantly targeted by now what we can say are state-sponsored actors.
Yes.
This is beside the point, but notice he doesn't elaborate what state-sponsored actors even mean. Later on in the video, he will talk about what he believes in terms of monetary contributions to organizations he despises. But this is more of a minor nitpick, so I digress.
We're trying everything to subvert your hobby. It is hard not to feel some sort of negative feeling towards the people.
These are people that tell other cultures how to talk, walk, and behave. Yeah, they tell you everything to do. These are the people that want to tone police you, that want to tell you what words you can and can't say.
For the record, these are the same.
Oh, Pooh, I missed what? It's about like the USAID stuff. They're crying about like stuff like Anita Sarkeesian getting funding, basically.
These are the people that want to tone police you, that want to tell you what words you can and can't say.
For the record, these are the same exact people who cry all the time about black people and women appearing in their video games. The same goofballs who cried about a black samurai in the Assassin's Creed video game. Regardless, here we see another way that implications are veiled.
So they pick up on this. They just like snipe this quote at one point. It's like they use it to imply that this is her entire perspective, but no, there's actually points being laid out around it. That was just like a jab. Like, if you want people to really receive what you're saying, I mean, probably don't include the jabs, but having watched Rev's video yesterday, this was very dishonestly clipped. None of the actual points were included, and I was, to be honest, as someone who doesn't like Foodshops, I was willing to just assume that Foodshops didn't say anything of worth. And now it actually seems like she might have had some decent points in there. So
layers of irony and purposeful vagueness.
Nobody wants to be told what to do by some
RevSaysDesu, the lolicon guy.
Card with an anime profile picture.
When people analyze these kinds of phrases, they oftentimes think of how the word they is implied. Is it the so-called state-sponsored actors they were talking about earlier? Or does it betray a mindset these so-called anti-SJW types often project in their commentary, that they are the center of their world, that they are the last bastion of the true oppressed minority, gamers?
To demonize you as a person just because you wanted to play some video games.
I will say that the way they go about talking about these subjects, you know you can't help but feel bad for them. It's an audience of either now late 20 or early 40-year-olds who consider themselves to be part of a huge online movement some 10 years ago. Despite how culturally relevant Vietnam War II gamer wars was back in the day, it is but a small blip on the radar compared to real-world issues and politics. Now, they hang out in these audiences with Asmongold and RevSaysDesu, endlessly feeding themselves into their content machine. Sometimes you have to wonder, is the real input of these content machines their audiences? Or is it that the creators themselves believe what they are saying with the same fervor, with or without their audiences?
I thought they shut their doors down like a year and a half ago, but people are still paying Feminist Frequency this much money? Why?
Feminist Frequency, that closed down a while ago by former hostess Anita Sarkeesian, was one of the most hated shows on the internet. Anita Sarkeesian was one of the big three of Gamergate, and the show itself was oftentimes a topic of the 2013 to 2016 anti-SJW movement. Let's take a look on how these guys cover it.
But they had these sorts of numbers. Total revenue of $569,000 just for the year.
Corporate donations. Who's the corporations giving them money? Like, come on, what are we doing?
It's kind of funny because while I am personally in favor of the market of capitalism with certain reasonable restrictions, Asmongold and Rev paints this in a bad light. Not that they don't support corporate donations inherently, but just know that the state itself has nothing to do with any of Feminist Frequency's funding.
Wait, so where are they getting the USAID stuff from then?
Let's take a look on how these guys cover it.
But they had these sorts of numbers. Total revenue.
Same fervor, with or without their audiences.
I thought they shut their doors down like a year and a half ago, but people are still paying Feminist Frequency this much money? Why?
Feminist Frequency, that closed down a while ago by former hostess Anita Sarkeesian, was one of the most hated shows on the internet. Anita Sarkeesian was one of the big three of Gamergate, and the show itself was oftentimes a topic of the 2013 to 2016 anti-SJW movement. Let's take a look on how these guys cover it.
But they had these sorts of numbers. Total revenue of $569,000 just for the year.
Corporate donations. Who's the corporations giving them money? Like, come on, what are we doing?
It's kind of funny because while I am personally in favor of the market of capitalism with certain reasonable...
Dude, why are you doing the conservative USAID thing? Dude, I literally don't care what anyone calls it. I don't care what anyone calls it. People are calling it USAID right now, call it USAID. If they want to call it USA, they'll call it USAID. I don't care. I don't care. It's not the conservative USAID thing. It's just like, that's what it gets called in all the content right now.
Restrictions, Asmongold and Rev paints this in a bad light. Not that they don't support corporate donations inherently, but just know that the state itself has nothing to do with any of Feminist Frequency's funding, as even said by RevSaysDesu before.
Now, a lot of people are looking at this and saying, aha, they've been sponsored by the government. Unfortunately, a lot of the screenshots of this particular piece of data, it cuts off the government.
I will call it whatever. Either way, I'm in favor of US tax dollars going on like Guatemalan sex changes or whatever. I fully support all the fucking spending in this shit because it's fucking funny. Not even because it's fucking funny, because I think there is genuine arguments for it, and it also just seeing them like see the really $10,000 on Guatemalan sex changes, $10,000. Yeah, what percentage of the budget is that?
Grant section, and if you see here, it says $0. So they did not receive any direct money from the government.
It's very clear that this is a case of a company paying another company for services, investments, or a donation or whatever. This is the free market at work, the supposed free market that these streamers and their audiences mostly support. There is no laws being broken here. If you look at it from the
Arabic Sesame Street is actually the easiest one to argue. That is, it's so crazy that they harped on the Sesame Street point so hard, when that is like the most obvious, easy, defensible spending that I've seen out of any of them. Like, yes, you would rather have Arabic kids or Iranian kids, whatever, watching US-made Sesame Street style liberal programming versus Far 4. It just seems retarded by that recap. Spinal, that is just saying you are retarded. You're just admitting you are retarded. It's how... Spinal, what would you rather have kids in those countries watching? It's this simple. This is what they're watching if they don't watch Sesame Street made by Americans.
Political.
Cute, he's a bee, he is Nahul. Meet the latest cartoon character on Hamas-run TV. But this playful bee is very serious business for the bosses at Al-Aqsa TV. Al Jazeera gained access to Al-Aqsa TV's guarded television studios, but for security reasons, our cameras were only allowed.
Where's, I've seen the Far 4 clips.
سنعيد لهذه الأمة مجدها وسنحرر الأقصى إن شاء الله وسنحرر العراق إن شاء الله وسنحرر بلاد المسلمين التي تجتاحها هذه الأثناء القتلة. سننتصر يا بوش وسننتصر يا شرون بيت. خلاص السلامة. سننتصر يا أولمارت. سننتصر يا...
They will still become terrorists. You should spend money to try and stop that, because that has a benefit to you. That's the point, right? If you can take this power, because obviously they're making this for a reason, right? They don't just make this for no reason. So if you can take this power away from them by creating another TV show for a very small expenditure, that is a tiny expenditure, if you can take this power away from them, that is power you've gained that they've lost. That's how soft power works. You create influence in places to push other people out. And it is nothing but a benefit to have terrorist influence pushed out of their own countries. That is just a benefit. So if you can do that on a tiny expenditure, why the fuck would you not? What are you gaining by, what was it, like, I can't remember, like 20,000, was it 200,000 or something? $200,000 on this Iranian Sesame Street? Tiny, 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 tiny percentage of your yearly budget. 20 mil, still, same thing, same statement stands. Tiny, 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 tiny percentage of your yearly budget. It is nothing. It is a drop in the bucket. The percentages add up, yeah? And after getting rid of all of USAID, what was the percentage that was cut back? Or was it all of it? I can't remember. However much they gutted. What was the total percentage of USAID? It's like 1% or something, right? So like, even if you cut all this stuff, what do you gain from it? What do you gain? Nothing. You just lose a bunch of soft power. You lose a bunch of cheap as fuck soft power, and you just hand stuff over to other people. You save more money, but it's not meaningfully. You don't meaningfully gain anything. What are you doing with that money? What problem are you solving with that money in your own country? Nothing. It's not going anywhere. Nothing. You're kneecapping yourself. You literally just lose influence. That's all that happens. You gain a meaningless amount of money and lose a huge amount of influence. IDK, solve whatever problems affecting America. Spinal, do you understand why everyone looks at you like a fucking retard when you say shit like that? Please tell me you at least understand. Please tell me you at least understand. Okay, you understand. It's like, this is literally, we had this same bullshit in the UK. Same bullshit in the UK. The fucking NHS bus. We send 350 million a week to the EU. How about we fund our NHS instead? Did they fund the NHS? No. Was that 350 million number accurate or representative? No. Did we gain that back by leaving? No. It's just like, it's the same thing. It's just, you just gesture at the idea of being able to do something else with this money without any plan, without any analysis of how it's being spent, or any argument about how things will be afterwards. You just say, yeah, we should sort of stop spending that money and use it for our own people. And then nothing happens. They just cut and waste. So it's just so worthless, man.
The outside and remove the controversial label. It is simply supply meeting demand.
It is fucking obvious. What's your logical construct based on? My logical construct is that people that have shared interests will work together to accomplish shared goals.
Yeah. You were in chat, right? I've shown missiles that cost more than the Arabic Sesame Street. Yeah, cut off the terrorist influence to the next generation by creating your own TV show for 20 million. Or get one missile. One missile that maybe you'll kill 10 of them when they grow up. Yeah, this is great. This is a great way of spending. This is great spending decisions here. Wow, amazing.
And I think that in a general sense, people that view each other in solidarity will have sympathy for each other and will work towards achieving goals in ways that are sometimes more opaque than average. And in a lot of cases, it can't necessarily be defined, but it can be observed.
What is bro even waffling about? It is so clear to me Asmongold is just simply pulling takes out of his ass to justify his pre-existing beliefs. He's got no receipts, no direct evidence about anything. Some people just be saying stuff without thinking. It costs like $0, 0 cents to not start making implications that everything is connected. It sucks that he can speak so much and really say nothing at all, and his audience would gobble it up.
Doesn't mean that the government was in on it, though. No, but to think that these people randomly spawned in at the UN without any sort of cooperation or help from the government at all, or people that were sympathetic to their cause in the government, I think that that's interesting. I wouldn't have assumed that.
Even the very nature of the information being fed to him is not aligning with his worldview. If these institutions are so good at hiding things, why even publish the 2022 financials in the first place? Wouldn't that make people start asking questions? Or is it just so that the people can be tricked into thinking they are being transparent? So is there any world where this isn't just some conspiracy then?
Going on with the USAID and also some other government programs has been an eye-opening experience, not just for Americans, but people across the world.
It's
this is completely unacceptable. I don't care what
Foodshops actually raping in this video. This is actually not a bad video. I'm shocked.
Your political beliefs are. You cannot possibly support this misuse of government money, of US taxpayer dollars. And it's not just harming Americans, it's harming people all across the world because these people have an agenda.
Well, I just think that it's interesting that all these people from the other sides of the world is like, apparently we were giving the Philippines a bunch of money. I talked to people that were in the Philippines, they didn't even know this was happening.
It's so hypocritical of Rev and Asmongold for denying how much goodwill and use USAID has done for the world and the United States. On one hand, the government can't be trusted with USAID, but their guy, Donald Trump, still have not published his tax returns and made clear the flow of money in and out and which interests he is beholden to. For feminist frequency, earlier on, they were dealing in less than a million.
Kinda spitting? Kinda spitting?
Trump still have not published his tax returns and made clear the flow of money in and out and which interests he is beholden to. For feminist frequency, earlier on, they were dealing in less than $1 million.
Retarded delivery sounds like a stammering fucking idiot, but what? I mean, fair point.
While for their guy Trump, his transactions number in the tens of millions of dollars. According to Pew Research for fiscal year 2023, USAID contributes $15.6 billion to disaster relief and aid, $10.6 billion in efforts to battle HIV and AIDS, and the rest of it to combat influenza, public health threats, and promoting democracy, with so-called promoting democracy only being comparably $2.3 billion. Part of what makes the USA strong is how much they actually intervene to help other countries, and it shows that by intervention and aid, even if transactional, and even if it is meant to secure good relations, that has a huge contributing factor on why the modern day USA is so well respected, so powerful, and so full of resources. Every single other isolated country throughout history got beaten down into the dirt. Isolationism and exceptionalism can be done in small measures, but has taken down empires in the past. Just look at how the Chinese dynasties finally came to an end, or maybe look at why the Roman Empire was so powerful in the first place.
People crying about this tweet. Now, I'm going to say that...
I mean, kind of just spitting. Kind of just spitting.
Why the Roman Empire was so powerful in the first place.
People crying about this tweet. Now, I'm going to say that people that cry about this and get upset about it, all that makes me do is it makes me happy and it makes me want to do it more. So the more you get upset about it and the more that you make appeals and you try to make people feel bad for you, that's like a reverse fucking like, you know, like thing where like with me, it's like, okay, I know it's working, right? And so, yeah.
In the end, I do support free speech insofar that people have the freedom to say whatever they want, just as Asmongold believes. However, I believe that people should also have the freedom to criticize Asmongold's rhetoric as well, and misleading ways he conducts commentary in the way that his audience really likes, despite his bad rhetoric. Thank you for watching.
Bad at formatting the points, sounds like a retard, but I mean, fair arguments. Fair arguments, I think, there. Let's see, let's watch RevSaysDesu is unironically bad faith as well, okay?
So why is this happening? I have absolutely no
Why do all Dems sound like this? Thank you, Danoka, for the $2.
idea. It seems very targeted, and I've seen other channels.
My name, RevSaysDesu.
Okay.
So why is this happening? I have absolutely no idea. It seems very targeted, and I've seen other channels.
My name, RevSaysDesu, is being targeted by YouTube. Or is he? People oftentimes argue how often YouTube will just straight up censor or silence people. However, the real question is it intentional? If it is intentional, what is the reasoning? People unfortunately spread misinformation in order to fit their narrative. One popular YouTuber that does this is RevSaysDesu. Let's dive into how he does that. I believe that demonetization is one of the most misrepresented subjects on YouTube. Yes, the demonetization process is bad. Yes, we all wish there were more human reviews of some videos. Yes, I know stuff like this taints your visibility. However...
Also, guys, now's a great time to remind you, okay? 579 people here, 100 likes on the stream. If you don't mind, please, moving your cursor to the thumbs up and clicking it, or pressing the thumbs up on your mobile device. That'd be hugely appreciated. Now, if you want to take your support one step further, you can donate directly through the stream elements link in the pinned chat message. You can also buy a membership to the channel, gift a membership to the channel, gift a whole bunch of memberships randomly throughout the chat. Buy a super chat which will highlight your message and read out on TTS if it's over $5. or buy a super sticker, which is a YouTube image or GIF that we highlighted in chat, and I'll describe it to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, or reddit.com/r/Kuihman. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
One thing I believe is harmful to the discourse is when you misrepresent YouTube demonetization decisions as deliberate, malicious actions when there is not enough evidence. For example, I believe that if you claim YouTube is targeting you in any sort of way, you need to be able to provide evidence. If you claim that there are certain demonetization waves that happen, there must at least be some other cases of this being reported. Otherwise, you are spreading misinformation and even disinformation in order to fit your narratives. The reason this is also important is because now when you advocate for an improved demonetization detection system, the way you go about it will change. If YouTube is making genuine mistakes, you complain that the programming is incompetent. However, if you think YouTube has an agenda and backroom connections with some industry, you will complain that the programming is malicious. The difference between these two complaints are massive. In order to fix an issue, you need to recognize the issue correctly. This ultimately brings us to RevSaysDesu. Rev is a commentary channel that often covers gamer news. However, if you look at all of his videos, you can clearly see they have a slant to them. His commentary oftentimes appeal hard to the anti-woke crowd. We need to go into this analysis knowing that this is what works best for their channel. In order to do that, we will dive into this specific video. I criticize the gaming industry. Now, YouTube is silencing me. Posted on December 27th, 2024.
I'm pretty frustrated. My jimmies are rustled, I'm triggered, I'm angry because of a situation I've been facing over the past couple of hours involving my upload from yesterday that has been hit with an age restriction, now confirmed on appeal by YouTube.
Rev basically says that their video was age restricted and their monetization comes out as limited. The title and some things he states throughout the video makes the implication that YouTube deliberately has targeted people like him for covering this subject. Whether or not this limitation and age restriction is justified, I will extend a bit of grace to him. So for the purpose of this video, I will assume Rev is in the right and it didn't deserve to be age restricted. However, I will still be criticizing some other things he says throughout the video.
So why is this happening? I have absolutely no idea. It seems very targeted, and I've seen other channels also mention that they've had videos demonetized on this similar subject. It's very, very weird. And again, YouTube is not surviving the allegations where basically, once the second Christmas is over, they go full Gestapo, right? They start going around and demonetizing anything they can because advertisers pull out. After the holidays are over, there's no point for advertisers to promote themselves on YouTube because most people spent their money. They're not trying to spend any money after the holidays. They're broke. They've spent their money. So advertisers pull out. Therefore, there's very few ads on YouTube. So what does YouTube do? Well, they go around demonetizing people and trying to age restrict, and they go full censorship mode, and it happens every single year, but I didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Rev claims here that YouTube demonetizes videos after Christmas because advertisers pull out after the holiday season. I would love to see any evidence pertaining to this, even circumstantial, because I went looking on the internet and I genuinely couldn't find anything. The last major wave was the YouTube advertiser boycott, in which in 2017, more than 250 brands reportedly pulled their spending from Google services. It is totally open to how this affects current day monetization in relation to Rev's claim that they are doing it after Christmas, so I don't deny it. Rev does say in the video that he has no idea how this has happened.
I totally zoned out. But I think we know these points.
Load from yesterday that has been hit with an age restriction.
Yeah, it's about the Neil Druckmann thing. We've seen this.
However,
are over. There's no point for advertisers to promote themselves on.
This doesn't really make sense either.
Okay, so yeah, we know Rev's video on this is dumb as fuck. Yeah, so Rev basically claimed that YouTube's targeting him for going after Naughty Dog. Which is just, like, obviously stupid. Very dumb. Chad covered that.
And also...
All right, let's see what's in this one.
I know that there's a lot of people that criticize the way that I cover these different topics, but I also want to say that I've been right about every single thing. And every single outcome I've predicted accurate. So people might get mad about the way that I've said it. Yeah, I have it. No, you have not? Okay, name one.
Okay, fine. Let's just do it. It's Foodshops. I feel like back in the day, I enjoyed watching Asmongold a lot more when he was demanding people to show their amounts in World of Warcraft.
Please, don't let us give this to Asmongold. But alas, there was none. And I got this mount that day.
Hell, even Asmongold's social commentary was great. It was nice finding refreshing middle-of-the-road takes in lieu of the cringe progressive political takes at that point in time. But I feel as though mine fell off take-wise, and I'm here.
Every video! Every fucking video opens with her saying the N-word. Why? And she's got a picture of fucking MLK on the screen for this.
Show their amount in World of Warcraft.
Please, don't let us give this to Asmongold. But alas, there was none. And I got dismount that day.
Hell, even Asmongold's social commentary was great. It was nice finding refreshing middle-of-the-road takes in lieu of the cringe progressive political takes at that point in time. But I feel as though mine fell off take-wise, and I'm here to talk about it. Sifting through Asmongold videos to find his actual opinions is like trying to find a good RevSaysDesu slot video that doesn't make you feel as though you just wasted your time. You can only say, yup, there it is, true, there you go, and based so many times as padding dialogue for video reactions. But at least back in the day, he gave me takes I could actually agree with. He totally has the freedom to explore politics on his stream. But if a very large streamer does cover it, I expect a bit more out of them. And so, where there is politics, there is Asmongold falling off. However, before I dive into this particular video, we need to talk about why streamer accountability matters as a topic. Yes, I do agree that streamers should have more freedom in how they conduct themselves. I always cringe at all the leftist breadtubers saying that streamers should be less edgy and be less harmful to transgender or black people. It really isn't a big deal to me. However, once you dive into topics like USAID, even if you disagree with the organization, you need to be able to back up your opinions. If it's not a data-dependent piece of information, then I would at least expect you to give a more thoughtful and nuanced take. The reason why this is important is because misinformation is one of the biggest problems on the internet. When platforms are not used responsibly, it isn't just about spreading falsehoods, it's the trouble in telling the true facts from the fake ones. When opinions are not given enough attention effort-wise, especially when you have a larger platform, it also reflects in other people how they think about an issue, any issue, with the muddling between true and false. Now, any fact and lie are indistinguishable from each other, and there exists no truths anymore. Any kind of information could be discounted, and any piece of lie can be accepted. With this laid out, it's time to talk about this video. On February 17th, 2025, Asmongold published a video called You Don't Hate the Media Enough. Outside of even title bait, the content of the video itself also has problems. Let's dive right into it.
With a team that clears landmines and leftover explosives. But a freeze in U.S. foreign aid funding around the world could seriously upend progress.
After Vietnam.
Bullets and landmines, left over from years of brutal civil strife and a lot from U.S. bombing campaigns during the Vietnam War. Projects everywhere will depend on other countries to fill that funding gap, including China.
Oh no, China might have to spend their money on humanitarian aid on the continent that they share. How dare we expect them to contribute? We better immediately resume sending billions of dollars to minesweeping and underwater basket weaving just so the Chinese can continue focusing on bolstering their navy. It's almost like these newscasters don't even listen to themselves or even proofread what they're writing, as a caption over this clip is U.S. aid freeze.
First, Asmongold's eyebrows do more commentary than him. Asmongold begins by watching a right-wing guy named Decoy Voice. Not to harp on somebody other than Asmongold, but his opinions are straight up trash. The objectively correct opinion here is that the US needs to clean up their explosives on countries that they interfered with in the past. It's like clogging your friend's toilet after going to their house and leaving without telling them. Regardless, Asmongold seems to watch this guy a lot and makes goofy faces. It's okay to watch him, but it's also responsible for him to counter some opinions he says as well, and to provide devil's advocate when necessary. Instead, Asmongold will almost always agree with him and platform him. Platforming somebody you agree with is fine, but when their opinions are bad, it's not fine, especially if you can't play devil's advocate for the other side.
Here's the issue, right, is that in a lot of cases, like, probably some of this is our fault, for sure. But the issue is, like, kind of what I was saying just, like, actually a little bit ago, where, like, you can't expect a bunch of people to, let me think of a way to say this. It's 100% our fault, right? Yeah, well, let's say it is. But, like, let's say you're 30, like, you're 34, like I'm 34. Do I want to have the generational accountability for something that I wasn't even alive during, that all my tax dollars have to go towards? Like, I'm sorry, but like, no, not really, right?
Asmongold says here that some of it is the United States' fault, but his generation can't be blamed for something that happened before their birth. This is, to me, a very immature take on geopolitics. A country isn't just the citizens, but the power structure in place, territory, and relations it has with the rest of the world. You can't just be an American citizen and benefit from being a citizen of the United States, but not also acknowledge the government is responsible for war crimes before you were born. I I'm not saying that all white people in the United States should kneel before their black brethren and start kissing their feet for slavery.
What?
But rather, there is a good gray zone where if something is obviously the government's fault, then it should be atoned for. It's basically having your cake and eating it too. We all universally agree it's a good thing that Germans learn about the Holocaust, but we all also kind of agree that Germans shame themselves a bit too much for stuff they aren't responsible for, especially if modern-day Germans are born after World War II. It's almost as if there's a good middle zone for compromise. All this learning about the Holocaust no doubt in the end causes more taxpayer money from the country, but we all recognize it's necessary. But obviously we won't say that Germans should start kneeling before Jewish people and kissing their feet either. Foreign relations are complicated, and I don't believe that Asmongold's take is good at all, nor is it nuanced enough for me to warrant, you know, considering on a serious level.
There were people from these countries that didn't even know that it was happening. And I feel like that was probably more telling than anything, that if the entire intent of this is to create soft power in these countries, but the people that are in the countries don't even know that it's happening, what are the odds that this money just isn't really making itself, it's just really not making...
What a fucking retarded thing to say. What a fucking stupid thing to say. Dude, how is Asmongold so fucking stupid, man? Well, if the people in the countries don't know it's happening, then how could it be having an effect? Yeah, I can't imagine any ways where maybe even you might want influence to be in some way subversive or hidden, where the people in the country don't actually necessarily know that it's happening. But there's surely no situations where you would want that, right?
Making its way over to that group of people.
Asmongold says here that people from other countries don't even know USAID is happening. But you are really telling me that random-ass civilians who are busy trying to make a living and supporting their family are going to pay attention to USAID? Don't you think that USAID is literally built with the intent to specifically deal with foreign governments? Why in the world would USAID show itself to citizens? What are they going to do? Appear as Christian missionaries and feed poor African children? Or rather, deal with third world governments and give them enough aid to combat sicknesses in their country?
And it damaged the trust that they had in the government in a way that is, I think, irreparable in the next, like, 10 or 20 years. And the media.
Yeah. We have a Chinese-style state-sponsored media. As interesting.
I feel the same way about that, by the way.
I'm not denying that the modern media has issues. It's not a perfect system by any means. I remember seeing an article implying Israel was using white phosphorus on civilian populations alongside the Lebanon border. That doesn't seem to be proven. And not only that, it seems to be just used for smokescreen, because it was just what Israel had at the time. So, trust me, I know. However, disregard for the media en masse is another immature take. The real question is, if you don't trust the media, then who do you trust? Is it Ben Shapiro? Is it Project Veritas? Is it Trump? Sam Hyde? And if so, then who is exactly holding these people accountable, and who exactly is fact-checking them? How do you know if anything is true? Yes, large media sources tend to align with one another opinion-wise, but how do you know if that is the case because the fact is true, or is it because it's all controlled? Journalistic integrity exists. It's hard for media to actually lie openly and get away with it. Just look at Fox News and the Dominion voting machine case. There was evidence that Fox openly knew that this was a lie, but still ran with spreading lies about the voting machines. They did this in order to compete with OAN because they were losing their audience to them. While OAN is not beholden to larger media journalistic integrity, Fox News is. Furthermore, Fox News, widely considered a news source with a right-wing slant, has the highest ratings and has the highest viewership in the country. So implying that all the networks are connected is ultimately flawed as well, and it doesn't make sense. So, what exactly is Asmongold's argument for this?
This is the same thing I said about games media on the smaller scale. If I had read an article from any games publication, I could have assumed it was from any games publication.
Well, yeah, okay.
Blame people for thinking that the government...
To larger media journalistic integrity, Fox News is. Further...
okay, she's ranting about, like, media here.
If I had read an article from any games publication, I could have assumed it was from any games publication.
Well, yeah, okay.
Blame people for on the smaller scale an argument.
Okay,
the highest levels of the Democratic Party.
Lost me on that one. Totally lost me on this one. Yeah, okay. Totally lost me on that one. My biggest problem with Asmongold fans. Okay, how about this one? Let's try this.
Asmongold and RevSaysDesu vids got a lot of attention from a bunch of haters. Don't want my videos to do well? Find them. Click off right now. I'm telling the truth. If you want to learn how you're helping me out, Sit down, my little crispy chicken nick. The YouTube algorithm values engagement above all else. Basically, it values how long somebody can stay on YouTube.com. The common truth is that people who comment and like on a video will count as good engagement. But what if I told you bad feedback and rage bait also counts as good engagement? Every dislike, every angry comment, and every single angry second watching only serves to make my videos get more attention. Engaging with my videos only makes my videos show up more on your feed. You guys are really not beating the retard allegations. The best way to reduce the attention my videos get and to completely hinder me is to hover your cursor over my video and not click on it. By doing this, you're lowering my click-through rate. Impressions are the times a viewer sees my video on the side or in the search results. However, clicking on the video increases my click-through rate and makes that particular impression valuable. It tells YouTube it's a popular video, and it will thus spread it to more people. I recommend doing your homework before promoting content you don't like. Unfortunately, clicking on my video, watching it all the way,
just seething about negative comments. I get it.
Okay, and you're already not accurate.
Is that all this video is?
Any audience, it's not even.
It's just reading comments. It's actually just reading, it's actually just reading comments. It's just reading comments. It's just reading comments. Okay, fuck that. All right, now let's move on. We're finally there. We're ready for the Asmongold video. Okay, Asmongold has responded to Foodshops.
Weird. I love it.
Ah, bro, this nigga really think he a Death Note character. Lil bro, you're not like Yagami. Sit your ass down.
So over the past 5 days, they've released 4 different videos about me and Asmongold, targeting us for all kinds of crazy reasons. It's their content nuke, and normally I don't react to smaller channels because I believe they just want the attention, but in—
Get the crying go back, dude. It's actually, I feel I can't handle. I'm not having it on my stream. Okay, we're not doing this. Something that's not having on my stream is people getting probed about abuse to the point where they cry. Not something I'm interested in doing. Not something I'm interested in doing.
In circumstances like this, I do feel comfortable reacting because I don't believe the extra set of eyeballs on their channel will benefit them in any sort of a tangible way because their opinions are just that bad. So what we're going to do here is react eventually to this video, which kind of sums up everything that's going on. And also they're kind of having a breakdown over the abhorrent like-dislike ratios on the previous 3 videos. And to give you context before we go—
Pepsi's my co-host, dude. You people, there's problems here. There's problems here.
Into the final video, we're just going to quickly go over the first 3 videos right here and kind of give you a sense of what we're dealing with. So, video number 1 in this series. Asmongold is unironically bad faith.
Another bad video about me.
They make an entire video in bad faith. And you can see the like-dislike ratio. It's not
What
great.
a surprise.
20 likes, 200 dislikes. And this is, you know, a video that neither I or Asmongold have reacted to yet. So this is just the market reacting. This is the video out in the wild. It's all natural right now, and it's still doing that badly. And with this, you know, there's a lot to break down. But again, for brevity's sake, let's just see a small portion of this video where essentially they're criticizing me and Asmongold for talking about various issues like USA ID as well as Gamergate and things like that. So
talk, walk, and behave. Yeah, they tell you everything to do. These are the people that want to tone police you. They want to tell you what words you can and can't say.
For the record, these are the same exact people who cry all the time about black people and women appearing in their video games. The same.
Bro, this is that retard on Twitter that keeps saying this over and over. They keep saying this. That's not even what it was about. That was never what it was about. Oh my God. Wow, what a surprise.
Same goofballs who cried about a black samurai in an Assassin's Creed video game. Regardless, here we see another way that implications are veiled through layers of irony and purposeful vagueness.
Nobody.
Okay, so they're basically saying that me and Asmongold are freaking out over Yasuke. We hate Yasuke because he's a black man in a—
How do you even find this rando? I don't know. I assume he just trolls through people talking about him. Here's the thing. Rev even says that he doesn't usually respond to smaller channels because they're always looking for attention. But this one he feels comfortable looking at. And it's like, dude, what a better way to telegraph that you're like fucking pathetic. You are like totally pathetic. That you will never engage with any criticism from a smaller channel if you think it's actually got weight to it. You will only fight retards like Foodshops. You will only respond if you think they are a totally worthless idiot like Foodshops. But if you think anyone poses any sort of threat, you won't respond. It's so pathetic. It's so fucking spineless. This Rev guy is such a wretch, man.
Video game, which is...
You literally just did that. I bring on anyone Spinal. I've brought you on Spinal. I bring on anyone who wants to talk. Smaller channels, random chatters. They've got a problem with something I say, they can come on and give criticism. Rev trawls through YouTube results looking for fucking Foodshops to show 2 minutes of a Foodshops video and say she's owned.
Not the truth whatsoever. People are not criticizing Yasuke as a character in Ubisoft's implementation of this character because he's simply a black man. They're doing it because Ubisoft, through their own actions, have made a very dishonest portrayal of this historical figure while also claiming they are historically accurate and they respect Japanese culture. Meanwhile, they're claiming he's a samurai when that is a very highly contested claim, and their only real source for that seems to be Thomas Lockley, who wrote a 400-page fan fiction about Yasuke with no empirical evidence that has been absolutely dragged by other Japanese historians. So yes, people have a problem with Yasuke as a character in this game, not because he's black, but because of the way that Ubisoft has implemented this character. And you can see a totally bad faith argument that anyone who watches our videos...
Everybody knows that too. Like, that's exactly what it is. And that's why everybody downvotes videos like this. It's because people make up bullshit and they start with a premise that's just totally fucking untrue. And then they turn it into something that's completely different.
Would never believe for a second, and that's how they start off this whole thing. And they just, you know, yap over and over again about USA ID. They have a big issue with us criticizing USA ID, and eventually they end the video by saying something along the lines of, they don't believe that Asmongold and myself actually believe our own opinions. Which,
right, of course.
Okay, I guess. But that's kind of how they started off my video. This is the second video in the saga here. Apparently, he also sucks, and it's titled RevSaysDesu.
Man.
Unironically, bad faith. And you can see that the dislike ratio is not too great on this one either. But this is how they describe my content, and I'll explain kind of what happened in this video.
Correctly. This ultimately brings us to RevSaysDesu. Rev is a commentary channel that often covers gamer news. However, if you look at all of his videos, you can clearly see they have a slant to them. His commentary oftentimes appeal hard.
I mean, how do you say that when every video is bad about somebody yourself? How do you do that? I mean, I feel like this is like, yeah, what are you talking about?
This analysis knowing that this is what works best for their channel.
Okay, so this is the class.
Yeah, so this is what I find to be, this is what's so stupid about this, is that, yeah, obviously they're going to do something that's beneficial for their channel, just like you're doing. It's so weird for this.
Classic argument people make. They basically say, if your videos get views, you must be doing this
negative self-awareness.
in a very inorganic way, that you're grifting or you're doing something like that. I make these videos because I care about these topics. It's not just to get clicks. If I wanted clicks, there's other topics I could talk about that don't come with daily death threats and unhinged people constantly complaining about you. Okay? I talk about these things knowing some of the backlash I might get because I enjoy these topics, especially
when... The channel is just shitting on people, but they accuse you of only shitting on people? Of course.
Involves gaming. Now, we also see what she's reacting to here, and she spends the entirety of this video reacting to a video I uploaded back in December, where it's titled, I criticize the gaming industry, now YouTube is silencing me. So what happened in that video is I was reacting to a situation where a previous video got age restricted, right? And I thought it was very unfair, and I made a video about it because that's what YouTubers do. When you have issues with YouTube, you make a tweet about it, and then you make a YouTube video about it, and that solves the problem typically. And that video, after I released it, within 1 hour, the age restriction was removed. Now, in that video, I talked about an observation I made about the gaming industry where a lot of companies want to make these promotions centering around Christmas-related themes, but they never say any sort of dialogue along with it that says Merry Christmas. They always use Happy Holidays, and I think that's just like a PC approach to things. It's not meant to be a super deep topic, and you can disagree with it, that's fine, but I'm just raising that for context because the video is age-restricted as a result. And in this video, Foodshops claims that, like, I'm trying to morally grandstand here and have this performative outrage where I'm saying I'm being persecuted because of my beliefs and these topics involving Christmas and all this stuff. When I only brought up the topic for context to explain why it's so frustrating that I got an age restriction for sexual content. So that topic...
People always just make shit up like this. This is the problem that a lot of these people have, is that this is one thing that I've learned about the internet.
I was muted, but I also wasn't talking. I've totally lost interest. This is just fucking painful. Rev is worse than Foodshops. Rev is worse than Foodshops. Rev is more annoying and more boring.
Also, like I said, I think
that there's a lot of young men who feel a lot of cultural stress and a lot of financial pressure. And they are very...
It's just Asmongold giving like the most low-level takes. They don't even respond to the videos.
I thought they were misinformation.
Hey, they should not respond to the actual videos. It's like the most retarded engagement ever.
It also counts as good engagement.
I mean, like, sort of, right? Like, I know...
What does this have to do with me?
Single angry
That's us on the hamster wheel right now.
Dude, this sucks. Okay, what's this one then?
RevSaysDesu decided to take a swing and cover my recent videos. This video will be responding to Rev's video directly. Most of his opinions I have a contention with, which I will attempt to back up with my own reasoning, logic, and opinions. I only ask that if I address Rev's various points seriously, then I only ask my fellow niggas to have a good faith interpretation. RevSaysDesu decided to take a swing and cover my recent videos. This video will be responding to Rev's video directly. Most of his opinions I have a contention with, which I will attempt to back up with my own reasoning, logic, and opinions. I only ask that if I address Rev's various points seriously, then I only ask my fellow niggas to have a good faith interpretation of what I'm saying. If not, then so be it. Anyhow, let's not waste any time.
Oh, yeah, 1 minute. Okay. Dude, I'm getting annoyed. I'm annoyed. I'm irritated. It's okay, we're gonna move on. Where's this, I had an image. So this video that Foodshops put it up as a premiere. And this was before the video even came out, okay? 106 comments, 1.7% likes with 8 likes.
And just get into it. First, let's take a look at how Rev talks about Yasuke in this video.
They're basically saying that me and Asmongold are freaking out over Yasuke. We hate Yasuke because he's a black man in a video game, which is not the truth whatsoever. People are not criticizing Yasuke as a character in Ubisoft's implementation of this character because he's simply a black man. They're doing it because Ubisoft, through their own actions, have made a very dishonest portrayal of this historical figure while also claiming they are historically accurate and they respect Japanese culture.
I will say that the way coverage goes for Yasuke is usually talking about companies being cringe and what sounds like a bogus book, sure. I have been unfair on that front. However, I would then pose the question, is there any way to actually have Yasuke playable in the game at all, in your world, without pissing people off? Is there any ideal way to write in Yasuke at all? If the problem is that he's portrayed as a samurai, what if he isn't portrayed as one in the game, but still playable? Would that be okay? The reason why I tackle these points is because I think the same outrage would happen, even if Yasuke was depicted correctly and accurately according to the texts. If the issue is respect and historical accuracy, then there is still a perfectly fine way to write in Yasuke. If we agree on this point, then really there is no contention. However, since people are challenging the question on whether Yasuke could be classified as a samurai historically or not, I still want to tackle this question.
Meanwhile, they're claiming he's a samurai when that is a very highly contested claim.
It's time to bring up the topic of so-called Black Samurai again. This time, I did a little bit more research on this so-called Black Samurai question. The context of the Japanese environment at the time is important to know for answering the question. The Sengoku period of Japan was known as the Warring States period of Japan. Nobunaga, a powerful samurai warlord during that time, one of the three great unifiers, would take in an African slave named Yasuke. He was accompanying Jesuit missionaries as a professional bodyguard.
Wait, so this is just an actual fucking Yasuke video now?
Oh, is Yasuke a black samurai? Well, first, what's important to know about this time is that the definition of samurai is looser than the time that followed the Sengoku period, the Edo period. In the Edo period, samurais were specifically defined as having to fulfill one of three positions.
Did you cite anything here? No, you didn't cite anything. Okay.
You either have to be born into a samurai family, be adopted by a samurai family with permission from authorities, or marry a samurai. The reason the Edo period had much stricter legal definitions of samurai was because Edo was under the Tokugawa shogunate, which ruled all of Japan for that time. However, before that, the warring states were essentially all functionally separate countries in the one region called Japan. They were feudal kingdoms. So really, the definition of samurai was anybody who could hold a sword, receive a salary to distinguish them from being forced into fighting, and most likely prove their prowess on the battlefield or through alternative prestige. Furthermore, you didn't have to be born into a samurai's family or marry into one. Yasuke, in particular, was given weapons, land, a stipend, and was known for constantly hanging out with Lord Nobunaga. Was Yasuke a samurai title-wise? No, I personally don't think so. However, because of such matching attributes, Yasuke was more or less functionally samurai anyway, since he fought alongside Nobunaga. Yes, there are people who were paid stipends who aren't samurai. Yes, there were samurai sword holders who weren't samurai. Yes, there were landowners that weren't samurai either. And yes, there were politicians and ministers close to Nobunaga who weren't samurai. However, not only do a lot of these attributes match up, but there are multiple sources from history that mention Yasuke's closeness with Nobunaga. Normally, I don't think a regular soldier would get that close to him. Even the topic of stipends and fast and loose rules for definitions could lean either way on Yasuke being a samurai by title, or a samurai by function, or even just a regular soldier. Ultimately, I don't think it's a big deal either way you choose, as long as you make an informed opinion based on the facts. However, the problem with most people who analyze Yasuke is that they do not go this deep into analyzing the history and authenticity of such things. Hell, even I think that Yasuke having full samurai armor...
So it's basically it's a debatable point whether he counts as a samurai. Okay.
...in the AC trailer is too over the top, and most likely not the case at all. Dude probably just wore an armored vest. The reason why it's easy for me to say that people just get pissy when they see a black samurai in their Assassin's Creed game is because they never give Yasuke the time of day because they are too quick to cry out DEI, forced diversity, and forced inclusion. They do this without actually sitting down to talk about what parts are done well and what parts are not done well.
But then I get hit with an age restriction and then that appeal rejected within 5 minutes.
I said that RevSaysDesu doesn't deserve to be age restricted or demonetized, and I thought YouTube's decision was unfair. So for the purpose of this video, I will assume Rev is in the right and it didn't deserve to be age restricted. The only reason I brought up the YouTube helpline with the so-called consultant or AI or whatever you want to call them is because you said on your own version of the video that you were starved for options when there was at least one option left, which was to turn to the help chat.
This is YouTube where they have no actual support, right?
Yeah,
you
it
have
doesn't
no
actually
actual
do
contacts.
It doesn't
and in this case, the only thing you can do is reach out to the Team YouTube Twitter account and try to beg for them to give you an actual review.
That is the thing you should do.
Representative, or you can pick the email option. Personally, I've picked the chat option every time. One was for my taxes, and one was for whether or not I was shadow banned. When I was doing it, there were pretty much no...
Well, I will say it's gay to beg for age restriction to be taken off on Twitter on like a daily video. If you're a daily channel, you're begging for age restriction to be taken off for that day. Like, I don't know, man.
And one was for whether or not I was shadow banned. When I was doing it, there were pretty much no wait time, and the representative themselves have been really helpful.
This is YouTube where they have no actual support, right?
There's this misconception out there that the only way to get YouTube to help you is by tweeting at them, which is simply not true. What's also outrageous is the fact that Rev claims that he doesn't paint himself as a target for YouTube's de-algorithming. I criticize the gaming industry. Now, YouTube is silencing me.
It seems very targeted, and I've seen other channels also mention that they've had videos to monetize on this similar subject. It's very, very weird. Once the second Christmas is over, they go full Gestapo, right? They start going around into monetizing anything they can because advertisers pull out.
This just doesn't make any sense because his video title was literally that. It's crazy how Rev calls me bad faith when he claims that I believe people shouldn't complain about YouTube. When I explicitly criticize YouTube, yes, the demonetization process is bad. Yes, we all wish there were more human reviews of some videos. Yes, I know stuff like this taints your visibility in that same exact segment.
And then they also disputed my claim that in January, there's definitely a downfall, a ramping down of ad revenue typically on YouTube because after the holidays, advertisers aren't as gung-ho with YouTube and their campaigns there because people they're broke from the holidays. They're not spending as much money. That's something that any creator who's been around long enough recognizes. It's a pattern. It doesn't affect everyone the same, but it's definitely a pattern that exists.
So in my video, the reason I criticized Rev is because he implied that the reason the video got age restricted and or monetization limited was because he cited January advertising as a reason.
After the holidays are over, there's no point for advertisers to promote themselves on YouTube because most people spend their money. They're not trying to spend any money after the holidays. They're broke. They've spent their money.
It's softcore porn with a debatable bio in it. A debatable nip in it. Ah. Oh, so Rev was bullshitting here. So he actually got it. He got it. It was for a good reason. It had a nip in it.
What does YouTube do? Well, they go around demonetizing people and trying to age restrict, and they go full censorship mode.
Of course, I understand if you're arguing that advertisers don't advertise as much in January on YouTube videos, but that's literally not what you're saying. You're specifically...
So this guy lied.
Is falling off. He is falling off, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I don't know about you, but like looking at the Asmongold TV channel, like, I don't know.
I will say that using falling off is probably not the right terminology here. So that's honestly on me. However, I will say that as he begins to cover political content more, especially his more right-wing lean nowadays, he does suck more now. Maybe that's a better use word-wise than anything pertaining to falling off.
What are these criticisms? His eyebrows move too much. He makes funny faces. Like, damn.
Yeah, Rev is actually one of the most dishonest fucking losers online, man. It's fucking crazy.
What does it have to do with anything? Like, that's not legitimate criticism. So in this video, they're doing tricks on USAID. I cannot believe anyone defends USAID this hard. So Foodshops here tries to use an appeal to emotion, saying, well, one of those programs that's going to get slashed is cleaning up bombs in Cambodia. And Asmongold's reaction is pretty much like, I don't want to pay for the sins of other generations. I wasn't even born.
I'm not going to watch Papa Gout because he's fat, old, and gay. But I'm sure it's in there.
Within 20 years of the Vietnam War, why am I responsible?
Okay, so for this segment, I feel like I'm getting trolled here because I can't tell if Rev is trolling me genuinely. Because in a previous video that he literally covered in his, I backed up my emotions with facts about USAID. According to Pew Research for fiscal year 2023, USAID contributes $15.6 billion to disaster relief and aid, $10.6 billion in efforts to battle HIV and AIDS, and the rest of it to combat influenza, public health threats, and promoting democracy, with so-called promoting democracy only being comparably $2.3 billion. I also said that nuance is required when it comes to matters that pertains to sins of the father. A country isn't just its citizens, but the power structure in place, territory, and relations it has with the rest of the world. You can't just be an American citizen and benefit from being a citizen of the United States, but not also acknowledge the government is responsible for war crimes before you were born. I'm not saying that all white people in the United States should kneel before their black brethren and start kissing their feet for slavery, but rather there's a good gray zone where if something is obviously the government's fault, then it should be atoned for. It's basically having your cake and eating it too. We all universally agree it's a good thing that Germans learn about the Holocaust, but we all also kind of agree that
great, okay.
Snow White live action trailer. Like, most people are coming here, they don't like what they see. You know, the reasonable people don't like what they see. It's not helping you out in the way that you think it is. That's why I feel comfortable reacting to this video, because getting a 90% dislike ratio on a video is not growing your channel or making your reputation out there a very good one.
As for the negative attention YouTube channel part, I think that's fair, and I will acknowledge that not all attention is good attention. However, even though my videos get a rise out of people, I make them because I genuinely believe in the points I am making. I provide screenshots and video clips with full context included. I'm not going to change my opinion just because of a like-dislike ratio. A bad ratio is more indicative of me not making convincing enough.
Dude, Foodshops needs to step up the like Ransona faces. This is like just dog shit.
Arguments, or I'm hitting a group of people who aren't open to having their minds changed, which is also okay. That's up to them. That's their thing. If I change my opinion, it's because I genuinely thought about it and then changed my opinion on it.
Yeah, there's a reason why this guy got absolutely trashed on. And then the other person they're referring to is, of course, Thomas Lockley, who we already talked about. 400-page fan fiction on this stuff that's been debunked. He also vandalized the Wikipedia page of Yasuke, changing the phrases from retainer to samurai, then using his own book as the source for that. How is that ever taken seriously?
I feel like I'm so out of the loop on this one because I literally have not heard of Thomas Lockley until now. Rev says he is looking at what the public opinion is.
Basically, what's happening here is that we're looking, or people like me, we're looking at what the majority seems to think. And it seems very clear from a lot of evidence that a lot of Japanese people don't like the portrayal of not just Yasuke in this game, but Japan and Japanese history generally when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows. They have a million reasons to be upset. All the controversies, all the historical inaccuracies, there's plenty to be upset at.
That's fine, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're making the right opinion, unless your right opinion is only based off of the most popular opinion. If everybody gathers to lynch a man, and that's the majority opinion, does it mean the lynching is correct? If everybody says they're offended by the portrayal of Yasuke in AC, does that make the
what's with all the black references in these videos?
Correct? Or would you rather look at the facts and the nuances of the matter?
People like me, we see this and say, yes, I understand Japanese people are not a monolith, but it seems like the reception in Japan is really bad. And I think that's a fair conclusion to make right here on this subject. Now, returning to this, they just yap on, and just going over some other things, it's honestly a waste of time.
Rev also brings up the like-dislike ratio on the Ubisoft Japan ACS trailer, but I literally don't get what he's trying to show. Is it because Japanese people specifically don't like it, or is it because a bunch of Westerners went to this video to press the dislike button? Anyway, that's it for this video. Honestly, if people thought about the points a bit more instead of instantly turning to the Yapfest angle, there's an interesting discussion to be found in many of the topics addressed. Thank you for watching.
Wow. Foodshops won, Frank.